This video is sponsored by Tape It, the iPhone recording app made for musicians by musicians.
And a lot of people, when they get older, from whether something happening or whatever, they lose that a lot. It could be religion, it could be work, it could be their parents, it could be whatever that's telling them, like, no, this is how you're supposed to do it.
But that's the whole combative approach to life is what has to change, and that's why I don't connect to SOS anymore. Like, everything is not a fucking battle. It is not, I don't have to prove a point all the time.
So I've been thinking a lot about self-sabotage recently and the stories that we might gather around ourselves that hold us back and keep us within those patterns of behavior that over time limit us.
Like, I like you and Eminem high. I'm sorry.
I mean,
you don't like them healthy, bro?
I like them healthy too.
I understand what he's saying.
No, I know what he means.
Because everybody likes a car crash.
In this video, we're going to be looking at some artists that I've selected, talking about how they have dealt with or overcome the self-defeating stories that have held them back in the past. As a note, I wanted to recognise a particular importance here on the idea of toxic comparison. In one of my recent videos, I pulled out a clip from Owens where he draws attention to one of his key life lessons, which can give us a lot of growth if we can actually properly internalise it.
1, get over yourself. 2, hope for the best but plan for the worst. And 3, don't expect life to be fair.
In life, nothing is really equal or fair, and not many things play out in a linear or simplistic fashion. We're all at different stages on the road, and we're all carrying those different kinds of baggage along with us.
Addiction for me is an escape.
Yeah.
I've been through so much in my life, and my family, they look at me like I'm the richest motherfucker in the world. And if I can tell them that, no.
As we watch these clips through, one more thing I wanted to add was a kind of overarching image that I've been thinking about when writing a little about ideas of self-sabotage. The image that I was thinking about is of a balloon floating in the air, but pegged down into the ground on a piece of rope. When we try and grasp at perhaps individualistic or closed off goals that might be based around ideas of more control, or that sense of holding tightly onto our behaviours and the things we should do, we could think of that as an attempt to stretch that cable a bit further by applying pressure and allow that balloon to get a little bit higher in the air.
I didn't finish school, and I didn't get to prove that point to have I have all these crazy degrees, I'm smart. So it's no. Me writing is me letting you know I'm smart. But now past that, I don't have anything. But that's the whole combative approach to life is what has to change, and that's why I don't connect to SOS anymore. Everything is not a fucking battle. It's not about achieving, improving, and fighting, and doing all these things.
Being that artist that speaks.
If we pull on it enough with those ideas of self-control or willpower and all that good stuff, we might actually be able to stretch that cable a little bit and get that balloon floating a little higher. Going into this year, however, I want to try and think about that deeper level, which is going to be those pegs that actually fasten the whole system into the ground in the first place, and how by trying to get closer connected to those underlying emotions or feelings that we carry inside of us, can we work to actually loosen those pegs that are tying us in, and over time perhaps release the whole thing and allow it to float up as it should.
I think it's the energy behind the behavior that's the most important thing, not the behavior. So if your New Year's resolution comes from an energy of lack, that I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, and you're trying to overcome that with guilt and shame and willpower, you can be fine for 2 weeks or 1 month or 2 months or 3 months, but you will always revert back. That's been my experience. But if it comes from an energy of love and abundance that, hey, I actually like who I am, right? actually change becomes a lot easier, and you can get to a point where change becomes effortless. But I don't believe that most of the advice is getting to the true root cause.
Right, just before we jump in here, a quick shout out to the Patreon and those who support this work, for all the people who enjoy and get benefit from it. And also a big shout out to the sponsor for this video and longtime friend of the channel, and that's Tape It, the iPhone recording app made for musicians by musicians. Tape It was the first company that I connected with directly after seeing that tool that they make and immediately recognizing that it filled an obvious gap, not only in my own practice, but also would be massively relevant to a lot of the audience, I think, who watch these videos. As a musician, but also a writer who takes a lot of audio notes, the voice recording app on my phone is in the top 10 things I'm going to be looking to use when I pick it up. And Tape It are improving the functionality of that process, allowing the user to categorize their recordings, get better quality results, record straight from the lock screen easily, and collaborate in a far more effective way. The Tape It app has a week-long free trial, so if you're sitting here and considering having a look, go give it a go and see for yourself. As I've said, this is the first company I reached out to directly because I really do think it could add some simple practical value to this audience. The link's at the top of the description there. Go click it and download it to show them that Creative Minds sent you over. And yeah, with all that said, let's jump into this one and yeah, get the video going.
We think that those obstacles are external, but they're internal. And the solutions that we're looking for are not going to be found outside of us. They're always inside. It is an inside job. And if you want to kind of master a change, you're going to have to look inward and unpack the mechanics of why you behave the way that you do, why you have historically always done a certain thing, even though you have this knowledge and you know that it's not in your best interest.
Scissor. On catching behaviors that signal misalignment, willful blindness and disconnection.
Oh, like I didn't even drink prior to dropping this album. And like, you know, you start having like a little celebratory drink with your friends. And like, oh, you went #1, here's a drink. Oh, you you did a good job at SNL, here's a drink. Oh, we're finished with this tour leg, let's have a shot. I had to look at myself and I was like, what? You don't drink, what are you doing? But when everything is moving so fast and there's so much anxiety and there's more people to meet and more people to talk to, and I looked at myself and I'm like, oh shit. And I started having like weird panic attacks I never had before and crying and shit. And just like in spaces that were just, you know, like I'm at a photo shoot for like, you know, Wall Street Journal and I'm crying on set because I'm freaking out about being perceived. And I'm just like, I just can't do it. And then that's when I asked myself, oh, this is that like juncture where people like aren't heard from anymore. When they're like, oh, what happened to her? What happened to this person? Either they like had a mental breakdown or they lashed out at somebody. And you know, once that perception starts and it's like, you know, I don't know, am I a bitch? Am I terrible to work with? Nobody wants to work with me, it gets nervous. I get nervous about that. So I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to disappear. Saying that to say, if I just focus like me restarting my 40-day sadhana and like prayer, and I cut my circle down really small. It's really just like my homegirl that's been my homegirl for 20 years. I see my mama when she can. I see my dad when she can. I kick it with my dogs, my niece, a couple, like my actual animal dogs. Yeah. Not like my homies, but like we keep it light, and I feel like that's the answer. Quiet and like less.
Tyler. Using joy and play as a way to reconnect with the nourishing root of your creative practice.
I've always just been a leader and kind of, just been on my own and to that. But I had a thought last night. I was like, man, I can't wait to have a kid so I could give them Legos and just watch them just figure it out. I don't want to give them, just give them the Legos without the box so they don't even have, oh, I guess I should build that. Just let them be 5 5 years old, just figuring stuff out, AKA their imagination. And a lot of people, when they get older, from whether something happening or whatever, they lose that a lot, like a lot. Some people, it could be religion, it could be work, it could be their parents, it could be whatever that's telling them like, no, this is how you're supposed to do it. Kind of like when you get the Lego box, and on it it's a building, the kid is like, oh, I guess this is how you're supposed to do it. And yeah, I kind of live life like I don't have a box with a building on it, but I treat everything like Legos. So I'm always like, that would be cool, and you just do it.
I mean, the hard part is you just realize, like, man, where all the time go? Now, you know, now, like, I ain't sitting around smoking blunts or drinking all day. It's like, fuck, I have so much fucking time on my hands now. Right. It's like, what the fuck? So now I just pour myself more back into my work now. I mean, I feel like I honestly regained the love for making music again. Because before, you know, it just used to be like, you know, you gotta do it type shit. Like, I go to the studio and get fucked up and just want to knock the shit out so I can go back to getting fucked up. Now it's like I'm just back in love with the process of just, now it's fun again. You know, or even being on stage. You know, before, the motherfucker was thinking about the after party more than the actual show.
Danny Brown. Finding positive community and protecting your grounded creative self in a world of toxic incentives.
What songs did you make on Out of Raw?
That was during the hybrid time.
$25.
No, that was, I mean, probably, I probably did. But like the hybrid, that was that album. So I can't remember the actual 5, but I know I wrote the hybrid.
Why do I like y'all Detroit niggas high? Like I like you and Eminem high. I'm sorry.
I mean,
you don't like them healthy, bro?
I like them healthy too.
I understand what he's saying.
No, I know what he means.
Because everybody likes a car crash.
Yeah.
You know, it's something you want to stare at, but you know.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, everybody.
I'm sorry.
I don't think he means a car crash either. I think he thinks that when people were on drugs, they were more creative.
I thought that too, but now since I've been sober, I realized that shit just in me.
Right.
You know, if anything, the drugs and alcohol and shit was fucking me up more.
Right.
It was taking me more out of who I wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was, you know, but I always been a funny motherfucker, or just being able to fucking rap. So that shit was always just in me before the drug shit. You know?
Yeah. And you can rap funny. You can rap sober.
Yeah. Now, you know, I thought it would be hard, but I feel like I'm better now.
How long did it take you to realize that though? After rehab and stuff. Because I'm sure it was a struggle to get to that point.
It took a minute, man. Because, you know, like I say, when I didn't have no intentions on quitting weed and shit, but so then I was trying that and it was hard, man. I'm like, I gotta
quit
smoke
weed.
Yeah, because I couldn't sleep. Because I couldn't sleep no more.
He's having a terrible time right now.
Because I couldn't sleep. You know, I couldn't. I was like, man.
You
from what?
Quitting weed.
Yeah, but it was just hard. But you know, it's like everything else, man. Just time, man. You know, time heals all wound kind of shit, you know? Now, like I say, I could love it from afar. But as far as just like making music, I think, because now, like I say, I had so much time on my hand, I started back like making beats and shit, you know? I used to make beats all the time, like 2007, then I found people that made beats better than me. So I was like, fuck my beats. So now I just got nothing but time. So I've been back making beats again and just falling back and just with love, with just having fun with it. So I don't even, if people might hear my shit and be like, oh, nah, he ain't better than what he was high, but I'm having more fun now than I was before.
And he takes to zone in? Because I know that's what helps. It's more of a conscious
thought with me, you know? Before it just was like, get high and just try to say the craziest shit I can think of. Now it's sometimes, I guess, that might be just like what he's saying, like, because motherfuckers high and fucked up, it's a filter, ain't no filter. Now it is more of a filter, man. Now I think about shit a lot more. Like, do I really want to say, like, what am I, you get what I'm saying? Like, certain shit, I look back and be like, man, no, that ain't really cool to say. Because, you know, sometimes shock value just mean you embarrassing yourself.
Right.
And it doesn't last.
Yeah.
It's not lasting.
My knees were shaking and Punch was like, are you okay? And I was like, I don't know if I'm okay this time. Like, and then I just went out there and just something happened. I just snapped.
Scissor. Using creative practice to access what lies below the egoic, controlling self.
It was so scary, I couldn't be in my own like mind and body anymore. but whatever happened, like it wasn't conscious. So then the rest of the show, and when it was over, it was just like, okay, like I don't even know. It was so hard for me to translate that in the studio, like singing full voice and like not being afraid, like not being in my body and just like being.
So you're saying in the studio you want to find that thing that makes you snap on stage.
Well, that's what this album is like about. It's me trying to find that balance between who I am when I'm calculated and thinking and relaxed and have the opportunity to compartmentalize everything, and who am I when I have nothing. Like I have nothing together. My faculties are not agreeing with me. Like I'm not present in my brain. My body is just being and doing. So, but that's kind of freeing. It's like scary, but it's like a gift also to be able to like disappear from yourself.
And just let whatever happens happen.
Yeah.
I saw you at the end of that tour.
I've worked with people where it's like, yo, what if we do this? And then they already edit in their head, and then they're like, oh, someone said no to something like that before, so I don't know. Well, this right. And I'm like, bro, get out the gutter. Worst come to worst, it's a no, but let's at least try and then fail.
Tyler, you can't know everything at the start. Stop editing yourself before you've even begun.
Man, we had so many different ideas that didn't work, and it's okay, because all of that got us to this one end result that doesn't even have anything to do with it, but you just learn along the way. And I'm probably talking in circles, but just having people there that's like, it, let's try that.
Let's try it. No, I think that's dope, and I think that's a great takeaway to think about, is that, you know, don't edit the ideas before you've tried them. Like, before you've actually decided, like, that actually doesn't work out. Like, actually try it.
Yeah, you gotta see in order to know what to do, but some people try to know what to do before they see the shit, and it just fully hinders everything. And I don't get embarrassed, so I'm so okay with failing and up and saying, oh, well, that didn't work, what's next? And surrounding yourself with people like that is the illest.
All right, I want to bring this to a close now. I hope that you enjoyed it. And on the screen in a moment, I'm going to be putting another video that deals directly with those ideas around self-sabotage in artists and creatives. That's on the screen now. And with that said, for real, thanks for being around here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. And yeah, hit subscribe if you are enjoying the work here. And with all that said, peace.